Today we're going to make two different agents inspired by the new CMS use cases that have been announced. The first is the kill clipboard use case, and the second one is going to be a conversational AI use case for a clinician assistant. So for our first use case, we're going to build a patient intake agent. I have a little clipboard icon here, and we're going to create this agent that could be used to collect information upon a patient getting intake into a healthcare system. So we're going to use our Python SDK for PhenoML. And let's get started. So this is a Jupyter notebook I'm using just to showcase how to create these agents. Of note, the APIs to create agents for PhenoML are available for our core customers right now, but you can totally create agents using open source frameworks, using our lower level APIs. We have a few examples on our GitHub you can take a look at. First thing I'm going to do is install PhenoML or Python SDK. I've already authenticated, and now I'm going to create a couple different prompts that I plan to use. Something that we did in building our Pheno agent APIs is our approach is to be able to leverage different combination of prompts to construct different use cases. A lot of the agent frameworks that are available, you have to kind of create all the context specific to the agent that you're creating. And in healthcare, we tend to reuse a lot of the logic across different workflows. So we thought it'd be useful to be able to create multiple prompts and then be able to combine that context to dynamically create new agents. A couple of prompts here. The first is sort of general information on FHIR, on how to work with our tools. The second is information on how to handle specific requests. And then the third is specifically designed for like a patient intake use case. And then the last one we're going to do is we're going to actually create those patient intake, that agent. So I'm going to create my patient intake agent, and then I'm going to create my agent I'm going to use for the conversational AI use case. So I have my patient intake agent ID, and then I have a little example fast API server to show how you could have this running as part of a backend. I'm going to put that in here. Obviously, you could use a environment variable instead. And then we're going to have our React web app is going to invoke our PhenoML agent API as part of chatting. All of this code is open source, so if you want to give it a try, you can. And then we're going to actually chat with our agent. So I'm going to say, hi, I'm Alice for Wonderland 5. I've created many Alice in Wonderland patients. I am a new patient. I was born and I have disorder. Now, obviously, I'm being a little bit unrealistic in terms of how I'm interacting with this agent, trying to give you a sense of like what's possible using these APIs. Definitely love any feedback or perspective you all have. These APIs are currently in beta and really exciting to see different use cases that folks are building. And so we can see here our agent has created our new patient, Alice for Wonderland 5, based on the information that we provided. And now we're going to create another agent that's going to be a conversational AI assistant for a clinician. So we actually already created that agent earlier, right? When I was doing this here, I'm just basically saying when I create this agent, it can connect to multiple FHIR servers. So behind the scenes for our Pheno agent APIs on a per customer basis, we can integrate different FHIR servers for our customers, and then they can basically select in the request which EHR, which FHIR server they want to actually route the request down to. And so in this example, I'm going to make it optional for either of these FHIR providers, and my agent's going to figure out which FHIR server to interact with. So now that I've actually already created that, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to update my backend server to actually reference this agent instead. And so when our server is up, it's actually authenticating, and it's going to be making invocations to our Pheno agent API, but specific to that agent ID, which translates to the agent ID of this multi-FHIR server agent. So for our clinician assistant, we actually want to make this be a Chrome extension, which is pretty popular as it applies to clinicians using. So I'm going to actually So we're going to build our Chrome extension real quick, and then we're going to actually import it. So a couple important things. Obviously, all these use cases I'm showing, there's no authentication. We're using these agents without additional guardrails. There's a lot of details to go into that. It's really important when you're thinking about these kinds of use cases. How do you plan to be used? How do you ensure that there's a human in the loop? Thoughtful about running evals, thoughtful about evaluating the performance of the agents and providing very strict controls. Okay, so we are going to build our extension. Great. So now we're going to use our extension. So we're going to, I got here by going to developer mode for Chrome extensions, and then I load my extension, and then I'm looking for clay ribbon. Okay. Yes. What immunizations does he have? Okay. And so we can get different information from our patient on the immunizations that he has. It's a really exciting time in healthcare AI. We're really excited to see the different use cases that are emerging, building agents, understanding agents, their behavior, and identifying opportunities to better leverage them. Please let us know any feedback or questions that you have. Thank you so much.